Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for Dana White's Contender Series with your host, TB Scouting MMA, and
the Guru back again to take a look at week one of Dana White Contender Series from the Apex Arena, which is getting shut down after November. I could not be happier, had to bring it up. But before we can get into this card that I'm certainly excited for, showcasing some prospects, we've got a fantastic guest in the building. We got 4 ounces to freedom's very own Zach Likes MMA. Zach, what's good, brother? You ready to bring some of your regional MMA expertise to the Chronic Combat conversation?
Yeah, I mean, this is like this. These are the kind of fights that should be in the Apex. You know, the elevated regional cards before they go to the actual UFC contract. And this is what those who watch regional MMA watch. You know, who watch it all year are looking forward to. This is our Super Bowl. These next 10, 11 weeks are basically our creme de la creme, or at least you hope so. Sometimes there's questionable matchups, but you know, so far this season, this is probably the best season so far. I just hope we don't get the Oprah style contracts.
you get a contract. You get a contract. You get a contract.
I don't care.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at 50
care.
new UFC fighters, right?
Yeah, I don't care. I love Dana White Contender Series. For somebody that's always been a hater of the Apex, this is exactly what the Apex is for. Yeah, love it. Love these fights. Love the fact that we can bet on them. Years ago, you couldn't even really bet on them. Super, super fun. Everybody and their grandma's doing Dana White Contender Series content now, but we had to pull in one of the best regional MMA handicappers out there. So let's get after it.
Hell yeah. Loving it. Thank you so much, Zach, for joining us. It was truly meant to be. Second, it was even considered given the injunction. We just had to do it. So really excited to bring you on because honestly, I'm sure like a lot of these guys have actually already been on 4 Ounces of Freedom, interviewed already. Zach already knows what's going on behind the scenes, and he's a big regional MMA follower. So truly, this is, like Guru said, right in the wheelhouse. Shout out to the amazing chat here. You guys are here for the Dana White's Contender Series. What's up, Kristen? What's up, Dixon? You guys can read the whole name. What's going on? We're doing fantastic. Absolutely great. Let us know who the OnlyFans fades are, Mr. Dixon. But here we go. We've got a banger of an opener here. We've got the highlight, Antoine Ho versus lone ear Kavanaugh. Ultimately here, we should have an amazing matchup. I mean, Mr. Ho, he is a hoe, but he's coming in at a MMA lab, super well-rounded game, and I think the way more dangerous submission grappler. Lonir Kavanaugh, probably the more technical distance striker, but at the end of the day, I mean, both these guys do everything pretty damn well. I think that Ho's got a bit more finishing potential, and I think that we've seen Kavanaugh dropped a few too many times for my liking against really not fantastic competition. And Ho, I mean, he's undefeated even back into the amateur scene, where Kavanaugh's taken a couple finished losses on the amateur scene. So Kavanaugh here, he was the smaller guy. He needed the box of shame for the weigh-in. I got that Ho at plus 170. I think the line's closer to plus 150, plus 140 now. But I think fire away on a fight where neither guy has technically been finished at the pro level. You got to take a shot on the well-rounded dog that, you know, listen, I mean, Kavanaugh, you see him kind of resort to the wrestling game plan when things aren't just so clear from distance in his most recent fight. But then he goes, yeah, it's like chain wrestling, sloppily. He's getting some back takes. But the other guy's a pure striker. Like, you can't just grapple with Ho and expect to survive the moments. I mean, he's just a nasty, dangerous scrambler, and he's got more power on the feet. He sells out on his strikes more. He's going to be the one on the front foot. Kavanaugh's going to be the one trying to dance around from distance on the edge. If you can't tell, this is the fight I taped the most because it was the most fun matchup. The flyweights, absolute bangers, both undefeated. This is what Dana White Contender Series is definitely made for. And I'm going with the highlight, man. Give me some of that Ho. What do you got, Guru?
Damn, TB, that was some technical ass breakdown from you on some regional guys. All right, son, we see you out here. Yeah, I mean, for me, from what I saw, I'm not nearly as technical as either of these guys. I listen, I thought they both looked really close. You know, I think it's a very close fight. I think their skills match up nicely. I feel that Loner, you know, kind of keeps his hands down a little too much, and I never really trust the grappling from these these, Cage Warriors guys. I just don't, because they're not facing very high level grapplers. Yeah, again, Antoine Ho, he looks pretty legit, man. He's got some high level submission grappling, throws heavy. So I just think it's an interesting matchup. I love that TB said that these are young guys that haven't really been finished before. I like fight going the distance as well. I think it takes some time to unravel anyway. I could absolutely see this fight going the distance. Flyweight, so I'm curious to see what the number is. But yeah, we got plus 172 on Ho, and I'm not sure that line's still available. So we'll take it. Zach, take us away, bud. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll be the deciding pick on this one. I don't think Antoine Ho is good at all. I think LFA definitely looked at him as a highlight. Like the nickname lives up to it. He is very flashy. He does spinning shit. He does, the highlight style clips that go well on Instagram if you face him up against the right opponents. And that's what LFA has done. He's gotten the Brazilian treatment without being Brazilian. Over on Loner's side, hasn't faced the best level of competition. Cage Warriors doesn't really have as many flyweights. And also funny, building onto the low grappling level, when you hear American top team, you think wrestling and grappling. Great Britain top team, I don't think they can spell grappling. I don't know what their process is over there. However, in this fight, I think Antoine's going to still try to do the flashiness because in theory, when you get on Contender Series, you need to make a statement to get a contract. That's how the series was built. Last season, threw that out the window and everyone got signed, basically. That's why we got the lovely UFC card opener this past weekend, because it was a draw on Contender Series. I think Loner wins this one. I'm not touching anywhere near 260. Minus 260. On fight odds, I'm seeing minus 180 at some places. That's still maybe a little too high, but I'm willing to at least parlay that with something. But I also agree this goes to the decision. I think Loner kind of plays the distance striking. Antoine will try to get in and do flashy shit. Might go to the ground, might not. But I think in the end, Cavana's going to take this on the judges' cards. And with the way the way the division's going, flyweight's that in that weird spot again where there's so many names that are good, but yet we still need new blood. Like Charles Johnson's now becoming a big name because he's getting a second win in his career. We need people like these two to come in now and fight the Neil Magny of flyweights to then build up their career. But yeah, Cavana, I'm okay minus 180. I would love to get it closer to minus 160. But I'm all in on the decision. If he gets to finish, it'll be a good fight to watch. But as far as betting, take the even money, go decision.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Ultimately, that's the way the fight probably plays out, and that's what leads me to the dog price. But yeah, no, I respect your breakdown. I wouldn't be too shocked to see Kavanaugh just be more technical over 15. But like you said, small cage, some action, looking for highlights. I think Ho might deliver. So
yeah, I mean, these judges don't watch. These judges don't watch pay-per-view championship fights. They're not watching this shit. So if it goes the distance, I haven't, give me the dog.
Hell yeah. All right, we're moving on. We got Jose Miguel Delgado versus Ernie the Young Titan Juarez. Jose Miguel, maybe it's Coco. Maybe that's his nickname, Little Miguelito. But he's 7-1. We got the 8-0 Ernie Juarez coming in. Delgado coming in short notice. He's the large favorite. I think he's probably just the better fighter out of MMA Lab. Guru, what do you got cooking here?
Honestly, it really wasn't too much. Delgado honestly just impressed me. He's got fluid striking, solid power, decent pace. He likes to chip away at his opponents. He'll even throw in combination, which is something you like to see. You'd be surprised how many people just throw 1 or 2 strikes at a time, and you think you're going to knock out somebody. Good luck with that. Somebody like Ernie, I don't know. He's just kind of middling. I don't really trust the Gracie Stockton gym. Oh, the Stockton slap. All right, man. Not exactly what you want to be known for. I mean, he'll pump out the jab. He's got decent body lock takedown, but he's got problematic takedown defense of his own, and he lacks urgency to get back to the feet. And he's kind of somebody that's one strike at a time. So I just feel like he's going to end up being outpaced by a much bigger guy here. So give me Delgado. I think the favorite price is warranted. There wasn't really anything I love to parlay him to, so I think I just put. I kind of like Delgado by sub is an interesting look, because that's kind of how he likes to get things done. But I could also see this fight going the distance as well. What do you think there, Zach? Zach Attack.
Yeah. The teammate of Antoine Ho, so probably was in there. Maybe not as many rounds because there is a two weight class difference between him and Ho. But is one of the best. His one loss is to Chris McCarty, who, like, that's a loss that someone at 7-1 should accept. That's a good loss on his record. McCarty hasn't made it anywhere yet, but like that's going to age very well if Chris's career goes how it should. Ernie, short straw here, comes in undefeated. He's probably going to take his loss on this one, kind of like Kwang Lee just did like on Saturday, come in with short notice, but he gets a UFC contract. Rightful favorite. I'm not even against the minus 300 line that's going around on Delgado. I think that's accurate. I'm not touching that at minus 300. I'm willing to go Delgado by finish because he has the submission prowess, but he also can finish with the hands. And I know if I go one way, it's going to end the other way. So at minus 135 is what is kind of being the norm so far. I'm okay playing that. You give up half the juice basically, and come out better. You can even parlay minus 135, and maybe even with the opening fight, and hope it plays out in your favor. But great fight. We start off really strong this year.
Yeah, there should be all action. I think Delgado, like even with the short notice here, like you said, he's probably been getting ready, and you don't say no to this type of opportunity. He was clearly the taller guy. I mean, Juarez looked like he had some crazy, gut action going over there. I mean, that he was protruding thick, but I mean, Jesus. Jose, I think, like you guys said, should be more talented, more stylistically.
He was doing what?
He had a very enlarged six pack that could only be.
Oh no, I know. I know what
you
meant. But what did you say?
I don't know. We're on our way. We've got Brunao Lopez versus Mikhail Spartan Sazinani.
Sazinani, that's how you say his name. That's awesome.
Oh, it's Saziniani. I'm sorry. Saziniani. I would like to apologize to the Spartan before he shows up barrel-chested at my house and ready to fight. Lopez, definitely a little taller. Definitely seemed to have a thicker, abdomen, but I mean, Mikhail, what a chest this gentleman had at face-offs. Anywho's, this fight's kind of all like it's either Mikhail by meme finish and swinging heavy and Bruno Lopez being the slowest stuck-in-the-mud fighter known to man, or Bruno gets his offensive takedown game going and Mikhail kind of looks like a turtle off his back is like the two ways this could play out. So, I don't know. I mean, I think I like a meme here. I think the Georgian, Tbilisi himself, he's 4 years younger. He looks like the more explosive athlete, I'd say. I mean, I think Lopez is clearly technically better, but defensively, dude, what are you doing from distance? I mean, absolutely zero defense, and you're so slow. But you are a really good fighter all around, and you choked me out within 5 seconds. So, Bruno, this is your second chance the UFC is giving you. What are you going to do with it as a -2 something favorite? Guru, you got anything gross here?
Somebody needs to run back the numbers. I'm fairly certain guys that get a second chance on Dana White Contender Series, they just don't generally do very well. And in this fight, again, it's there's nothing you can tell me that can put me on Bruno Lopez as this heavy of a favorite. He's just shit. Like you kind of said, he's very slow. He's very stuck in the mud.
Oh, sure, that's not entirely what I said.
Oh, that's what you said verbatim. No, listen, he's a grinder. He'll throw, but he won't always work. It's just he's got decent offensive grappling to make up for it, but it's just again, he's so slow on the feet. He doesn't move his feet. He's just kind of stuck. And I'm just against a guy like Sazanana Hananani, he's just gonna swing really heavy, and I think it's very possible he knocks him silly. we saw him lose to Brenson Ribeiro, and Brenson Ribeiro is like very much not very good. So yeah, I think Sazahanananananan, and he definitely got a puncher's chance, and I'll take him at plus 170. And I have no idea what the line would be, but I would love fight not going the distance in this fight. I think somebody gets served. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, losing to Brenson Ribeiro has not aged well at all. That is like, I don't even know why they're bringing him back again, because like that's a fight that I want him to go back and like win fights elsewhere to prove that that was not what's going to happen when you're on this stage again. Mikel, your typical Georgian fighter, has the stamina. He's not a Marab, obviously, because 205 is a lot different than 135. But I think, obviously, this is my first dog of the card. I'm going Mikel because of that Ribeiro fight. Not saying Mikel has faced the best competition, because Georgian Fight Championship is what it is. It's like Russians winning against like the Home Depot loaders over in Russia. Like you get what they find, and that's who you fight. Plus 160 to plus 170 is kind of where he's around at. I would love that plus 185 that Topology still has. I also even am willing to humor over 1.5. He is about plus 113 currently as well. Because I don't see it going early. I think it's going to be one of those like second round finishes. I'm willing to kind of lean there too. Go second round and hope it gets over the halfway point. Bruno obviously wants to show that Ribeiro fight is not who he is, but I think that's who he is. And he'll probably be on here a third time because he'll be used to kind of build someone that like Mick Maynard wants in the UFC. But yeah, Mikel I'm cool with the morning line, the straight line, and I'm cool with the over 1.5.
Nice. All right, we're moving on. It's Mung Ding, the ruthless assassin, versus Rami Malik Hamed. The man that played Freddie Mercury himself brings us to this absolutely infected matchup.
What are you talking? Oh, you're thinking of
Rami Malek.
Did
Hamed.
he play? Did he play Freddie Mercury? Is that true?
Yeah, he did. Go do some research about culture.
Is his name Ming or Meng? I think it's Meng.
It's Mung. It's Mung.
Mung?
Mung Ding. It's my ding. It's Manding. The dingo ate my baby. All right. Anyways, the ruthless assassin, 34-8. He's only 29 years old. This guy's on an absolutely record-breaking pace from an overall fight perspective. It's like absolutely incredible. Now, as he comes into this matchup here, I think he's kind of like a little bit rigid. And he's not overwhelmingly that amazing in my mind. Guru, what did you see here from your technical analysis?
I was really unimpressed with what I saw from Meng Ding on tape.
Oh my God. Is that the first time you've heard that, or are you generally people unimpressed with your Mung Ding?
That wasn't funny. So I just feel like somebody like Meng Ding, he like doesn't use his footwork at all to cut off the cage, which is also bad. He's a 0 off his back. He's kind of striking dependent, and he lacks sub defense, and he's also 1 or 2 strikes at a time. He's fairly low volume. He lacks head movement. Just nothing really good there. Not super impressed with you when sure you've got 34 fights, but you're taking like 3 fights in the span of a month and a half. Like, who the fuck are you fighting that like you're just getting back in there on a week's notice? I'll take a check and go fight you. Like, it's just dumb. So I'm gonna take another dog shot here. I think somebody like Hamed has very nice snappy kicks to all 3 levels. He's got suspect takedown defense and submission defense of his own, but I don't know. I just kind of liked his athleticism a little bit more. I like his switch stances. He just seemed like the more explosive athlete. So I'm taking another dog shot on it. Honestly, if I break even on dogs to go to win 2, lose 2, I should make money. So I'll take it. Why are you laughing, Kiwi? I'm not sure. What do you think, Zach? Why is he laughing? What do you think about this fight?
Hold on. So first, you're going with Meng Ding?
No, I'm taking the dog.
Okay, so you're going with Meng Ding.
Well, Meng Ding opened the dog on Tapology, but now he's actually like the minus 200 favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I say I didn't even bother looking at odds on this one because Meng Ding has fought the worst competition ever. Out of his 8 losses, like 3 of them are the same guy.
It's like Peter Griffin and the chicken.
He's fought this guy like 5 or 6 times.
That was terrible.
Like,
why not run it back?
Do it again. Fuck, bring him in for Contender Series too. Fuck it, just go with it. Remy was supposed to be on last year's Contender Series. Broke his hand, has been out since then. Not a good look though to be out for 2 years in between fights. It makes me question like what went on with that injury that he's never gone anywhere else. Being in Florida, there's not much options down in Florida. Titan FC's gone. CFFC does like 1 or 2 shows there a year. Outside of that, you have a combat night. MMA Master guys, like they do travel, but not as often. So I do question why he hasn't done at least a return fight. I don't even care if he fought a bum. Like show off that the hand is actually fixed. For example, like again to go back to the UFC card this past weekend, like Danny Barlow has said, like, his left hand's not fully healed. So like the fight that we got on Saturday, it made sense if you knew that. Where like it's not fully healed, he's not going to fight as well. Going into this fight too, he's probably going to keep wondering if the hand's not fully healed, which you would hope by now it is. Every time he throws a punch, he's going to think about being out again for another year. All that aside, you couldn't pay me to be on Meng Ding or Ding Meng because I know that Asian surnames are usually switched around. I would side with the MMA Masters guy, especially if he's at dog odds now. Like that's even better. But this is the like piss break fight of this episode of Contender Series.
He's like plus 170. It doesn't make any sense.
No, not at all. I mean, outside of the fact you have people probably betting that 34-8 record, being like, "Holy shit, he won so much more."
And short notice for Rami too, obviously.
Yeah, because he was supposed to fight Islam Doratov, who would have fucked Meng Ding up even worse. Rami probably is going to just grapple him. It's the MMA Masters tactic. We've all seen Kobe Covington. Maybe decision here too, because like what can you really take out of Meng Ding's like 30 or 42 fights that like I've seen better fights in New England, and New England MMA is fucking terrible.
I mean, if you're taking Meng Ding, you take him by round 1 or round 2. I mean, he's got 15 round 1 knockouts and 8 round 2 knockouts. I mean, that's his condition. He better get it done early.
But who are those one and first 2 round finishes?
The literal sushi chef, the garbage man, and the Domino's pizza guy. No, like
I can kick a baby and look like a fucking punter. Like,
and on that note, it's time for the main event.
I was just thinking the same thing. We've got the Manser. If you were looking for the question, I found the Manser. Abdul Malik versus Party Time, Wes Schultz. This should be an interesting matchup. Interested to see that Schultz was the taller guy at face-offs. Abdul Malik obviously had a bit more muscle definition, but nonetheless here, both guys having a wrestling pedigree, having been at the D1 level. Abdul Malik probably a better competition at that level than Schultz, just based on Wyoming being where Wes Schultz was at. I think he's probably got the better jiu-jitsu, but it's like, is he too willing to just play that from bottom and hope he ends up with a back take at some point? Ultimately, I feel like Manser here, if he was facing someone like, I don't think Schultz has real power from distance. So I'm not as worried about his, being on skates in his debut and, generally looking a little slow and like uncoordinated from distance at times. I mean, he swings heavy, he's got bombs, but he's not like a super technical guy out there from distance. So the question is, like, does the Manser understand that he can probably just win like with top control a la Dylan Bucka? Because if that's the case, I mean, we could probably get a super juiced fight goes and have a little fun. And if the Manser runs into some issues from a cardio perspective with all round 1 finishes in his career, well then, Guru, what would you be thinking in that scenario?
Well, thanks for teeing it all up. Yeah, no, I mean, I bet a McChicken basically on Wes Schultz money line at plus 300. The line's kind of dipped to like plus 260. to me, they're both high-level wrestlers, or fairly high level for this. Mansour's a D1 wrestler. Party Time is not as high level of a wrestler, but has a wrestling background in his own right. His one big loss, of course, as you already mentioned, is him getting out grappled by Dylan Budka. It's a very bad look. Difference here is we have no idea about Malik's cardio. Absolutely none. 5 fights, 5 round 1 finishes. We've watched him get schmammied doing the chicken dance. We're watching him throw crazy strikes and look tired. I really would not be surprising at fucking all to watch him go balls to the wall and then not get the finish, and for this guy West to pull ahead. But also wouldn't surprise me if he knocked him out round 1. So that's it. That's what I got. I took a little stab on both, and it'll be a nice time. What do you think, Zach?
Great first night ending, nightcap on this one. I think this episode is actually even a little later because of the shitty episode of Ultimate Fighter. So I'm a little biased here. Mansour is from Columbia, Maryland. That's closer to where I am. I have seen him fight at Shogun. I'm also biased. I love the Cowboy Fight series. I wish Cowboy still gave a damn and actually put that together still. The names that have come out of that series have done phenomenally well. You have Richie Lewis, Eric Nolan, and a few other CFFC guys that started at Cowboy Fight series, such as Mansour did too. He then did the XMMA. Love it or hate it, they tried their best to make that a show. It always felt like a crypto rug pull. I don't know how they made money, if they made money. And then the Jonathan Ogden Foundation. That's not a fight yet. You can look past that one. But you bring in the D1 wrestling, they both have it. You bring in the MMA Masters, which means Mansour is with high level wrestlers his entire camp. I can't bet a guy who lost to Dylan Budka. It's just not. I just can't talk myself into it. It's a terrible situation there. I think this is a layup for Mansour. I'm curious to know who he's managed by. Because I have a feeling this is an Iridium style hookup here.
He is. I actually think I'm remembering him wear Iridium on his trunks. That might have been somebody else we were watching tonight, but I'm fairly certain he had Iridium trunks. Listen, you know how many fights I've been watching over the last 48 hours? They're blending all together. I'm fairly certain he was wearing Iridium trunks.
Yeah, so obviously this is going to be I don't hate your play of waiting to see what does the gas tank look like in round 3. Because I'm assuming we're going to see these guys go at it right from the start. Kind of like if you remember the last year's season of Jacoby Jones, I think it was, where a high-level wrestler came in, looked good for a minute, and then just gassed. I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see Mansour lose his O to a guy who lost to Dylan Budka. I'm willing to even play around. I don't know what the line is right now, but Mansour by decision, just because I don't think either one finishes either person.
I love that.
Then we move on to 305, and we go on to even better from there.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think ultimately it's you can take a cute play on Schultz if you need to, but I think the Mansour by decision was just the Mansour I was looking for.
Wow. So fading the narrative, but not too far. That's our favorite thing.
Exactly. And West hasn't been finished. Mansour's all round 1 finishes. And we don't know if he has cardio or not, but at the same time, if he's the better athlete and the better wrestler, he can just sit on top while the guy tries to play jiu-jitsu.
I fucking love it. I love it.
All right. So without further ado, let's get out of here before the half-hour mark. Guru, do your thing so we can play the music.
Zach, seriously, thanks so much for joining us. Go check out 4 Ounce to Freedom YouTube. Unbelievable stuff, unbelievable interviews going on there. We're going to bring Zach back next week and every week that we do this because fuck it, why not? Unbelievable. Thanks so much for joining us, Zach. All you guys, thanks so much for joining us. Make sure you're following my unbelievable co-host, TB Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, Picket, Tapology, and BetMMA. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, Picket, Tapology, and BetMMA. We will see you on